sports as well as humanity, and so I thought that that was my career path. After I graduated from UMSL in 2011, I found that I wasn't really gaining the traction that I hoped in journalism, and I had experience working for nonprofits before, specifically Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. And so I got a chance to work with the PR department, working with students, creating scholarship opportunities for youth, and so really enjoyed that experience. And so I again pivoted to focus on work within nonprofits. And so fast forward to 2014, I started a series of AmeriCorps terms. So that first term was at the United Way of Greater St. Louis. I was managing a professional development workshop series that's centered around community service. So at the top picture there, that is our first cohort with Harris-Stowe State College, or university rather, and we got a chance to work with some amazing youth, engage them in community service, engage them in professional development resources to support them in their next chapter of life. And so really enjoyed that space, did that for 2 years, pivoted again, did a AmeriCorps term at Earth Dance Organic Farm School. That picture to the left here is in one of the greenhouses on the site. We also did a experiment in which we released some ladybugs into the greenhouse to help with the aphid damage and the pest damage within the greenhouse. And so really powerful experience working for Earth Dance. My most cherished memories were that of field trips. So engaging Black kids that look like me out in an organic farm in the middle of Ferguson. They were feeding chickens, eating vegetables and herbs right out of the ground. And so that literally gave me goosebumps, facilitating those field trips. And so I knew somehow, some way I was gonna have to continue on this path. And so that led me to Gateway Greening, which is now Seed St. Louis. I was an outdoor educator there, worked with Columbia Elementary as well as Clay Elementary in North City. I managed the community gardens on site. I also taught pre-K through 5th grade, taught them about math, science, all of the different subjects that can be incorporated in a garden setting. We had salad parties at the end of the year, just really enjoyed that experience. At this time, I had been working for nonprofits, again, since 2014, and so I had a little experience under my belt. I did some really cool things, but I felt like something was missing, specifically in food justice, specifically in environmental stewardship, and in youth empowerment. And so instead of complaining about it, I started a nonprofit, Ojima, in 2018. You can go to the next slide. And so really quick, I want to share a little bit about some of the inspiration behind the organization. I definitely want to let y'all know that I am no expert. I am standing on the shoulders of my ancestors who did this very important, powerful work. There are some incredible human beings who have done some incredible things that inspired me, and so I wanted to share a little bit about that. So some folks that are not pictured that I want to give out shout out to. So my great-grandparents, Casey and Annie Mae Dickerson, they were farmers in Mason, Tennessee once upon a time, and it was my first time seeing a farm, going out there for family reunions, and it was my first time seeing Black farmers in action, and so it was really incredible to experience that and will later spark the inspiration for the work that I do. Also, my grandmother, Doris Speed, she is really an impactful person in my life. She is in the same neighborhood where my urban farm is now, and incredible person. Always made sure that we celebrated Kwanzaa as well as Christmas, that we had a self of identity and we had some pride around that holiday in particular and how we support our families and our communities. Also, not pictured, is Martin Matthews, one of the founders of Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. So he recently passed away, and so I definitely want to give kudos to him. He was a titan, a legend here in St. Louis, had millions of youth and families that have been impacted by his work, and to see him, even as an intern, to dare to dream big, to dare to want better for our communities. And so definitely want to give a shout out to them and the work that has been still going on at Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. So we'll start with the top, One World Everybody Eats. So this organization is a national nonprofit that is a hub for nonprofit cafes across the country. And so actually when we started Ujima, the goal was to have a food truck and have a cafe in which we distributed donation-based or pay-what-you-can meals. And so this concept to me was really revolutionary, really eliminating the barriers to access to fresh and healthy food. And so they are some incredible individuals doing some amazing work. To the left, we have Booker T. Whately, not to be confused with Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Whately was an incredible black farmer that wrote books and created resources for black farmers to make the best of small crops of land and do their best to create sustainability for themselves and for their families. A lot of the regenerative agriculture techniques, the pick your own orchards, those types of popular agriculture methods that we see today were inspired by Booker T. Whately. So All May Eat Cafe was the first nonprofit cafe that I had ever visited. So this is in Denver, Colorado. They've been around for about 15 years now. My first time seeing in action a donation-based or pay-what-you-can meal system. At this restaurant, customers can set the price of their entree. They can make a donation. They can donate produce, or they can volunteer for 30 minutes in exchange for their meal. And so I think that is a really powerful way to humanize the food experience and to create access at a greater level. Here we have Karen Washington, who is an incredible individual. She's currently based in New York. She is a farmer and activist. She is considered coining the term food apartheid. I'm sure many of you all have heard the term food desert before, but food apartheid really addresses the systemic issues that happens in our society. The fact that certain grocery stores and certain vendors will not build stores in certain areas based on the demographic. The fact that there is a lack of fresh produce and access in general in certain neighborhoods. All of these conditions that exist in our society are very intentional. And so food apartheid really speaks to that. So big shout out to Karen Washington. Life Lab here, they do some incredible work on the West Coast in California. I've gotten a chance to attend some trainings at Life Lab. They do really incredible work in terms of engaging youth outdoors, inspiring them to get outside, to explore, to dream. Earthworks Urban Farm is in Detroit. They do some incredible work. So they have roughly about 30,000 pounds of food annually that gets donated to the community. They're connected with a soup kitchen. They have an outdoor shower station for folks who are experiencing homelessness that's heated, can be used year-round. They have a bike repair station, so many different resources for the community, and they definitely serve as a space of inspiration for us. I got a chance to visit them back in 2021, and I got a chance to stop by again last year, and so they do some incredible work. Right corner here is the Black Panther Party and their breakfast program. So we really want to be intentional about how we provide access to food, and so the Black Panthers did an incredible job of providing that access to the communities that needed it the most. Up top in the right corner is Leah Penniman. One of my heroes in the farming space. She's one of the founders of Soulfire Farm. She is also the author of Farming While Black, one of the books that really changed my life. She had a really powerful quote in the introduction that really is seared into my brain and really, I think, sets the tone for the work that I do. To farm while black is an act of defiance against white supremacy and the means to honor the agricultural ingenuity of our ancestors. And so Leah Penniman is doing some incredible work at Soul Fire Farm. They do youth programming as well as workshops, professional development support for folks that want to be more equitable in their farming and in their agriculture. To the left here, we have George Washington Carver, who is the inspiration behind George Washington Carver Farms. He is so much more than the sweet potato and the peanut guy. He really revolutionized the way that we grow food here in America. His love for conservation, for nature, for animals, and for this planet was really inspiring. And so I definitely want to continue his legacy at our farm. He was an artist, he was a musician, all of these different incredible layers, on top of being a phenomenal human being, one of the greatest scientists and farmers of all time. And so we want to continue his legacy. He was born in Missouri, and so we want to keep that Missouri legend alive for sure. At the top, we have Homeboy Industries. Really quick, they are an organization based in California. In the 90s, they started to create opportunities for former gang members, folks who have been formerly incarcerated, creating job opportunities, creating a path of sustainability for folks once they return home back to their communities. And then I think that's everything, y'all. But again, this is a huge map of all of the people, the entities that have inspired me, and I definitely do not want y'all to think that I came up with this on my own. I am definitely standing on the shoulders of my ancestors, the shoulders of these incredible people doing this work and continuing to do this work. Next slide. Okay, so back to Ujima. So we started unofficially in 2018. In 2019 is when we officially registered with the state of Missouri and got our tax ID number and all of that. But since 2018, we have grown over 1,900 pounds of food at our farm and at our community garden location, which is in Hyde Park. A majority of that food gets donated to families here in the greater St. Louis area. Started in 2020 is when we really pivoted to focus on agriculture. We were in the midst of the pandemic. I couldn't work with students directly, and so we had all of this abundance of produce. And so we literally started reaching out to families here in St. Louis. We ended up supporting 25 to 30 families with fresh produce throughout 2020 as well as 2021. We also, since 2018, have cleaned up 9,000 pounds of trash in the North City area. That has been made possible by partners like Earth Day 365. They provide dumpsters as well as equipment for us to clean up. The reality is the communities that we are serving in have been devastated by environmental racism. We have cleaned up mattresses, box springs, toilets, cabinets, you name it, in these communities. And so we want to do our part to make these communities better and cleaner and safer for the folks living in these communities. Conservation. So we, in addition to managing native gardens, we're also looking to work with WashU and the Tyson Research Center to do some additional research around the activity of the pollinators in our spaces, specifically the bees. So there is a huge diversity of bee species that live in specifically North St. Louis City. There was a study done by a professor at SLU that said there is more diversity in terms of bee species in North St. Louis than there is in the entire state of Missouri. And so we want to take advantage of that opportunity to see the types of pollinators that we are attracting, as well as continue to create more habitats for them to continue to thrive. And then we also compost on both of our sites, at our community garden and our farm. And then we also do vermicomposting. So composting with worms, we have a worm tower that we bring out for field trips and workshops. And so we utilize vermicompost as an opportunity to reduce food waste as well as create fertilizer for our agriculture spaces. And then one of my favorite parts about what we do is the Sunflower Institute. So we're currently going through a rebrand, but this program has been in existence for 3 years. We are starting the third cohort June 1st, actually. So really excited about this. And the reason why is because we are really intentional about how we support the young people in this program. So first of all, we pay them $20 an hour. We also connect them with a Black occupational therapist that supports their mental health. Dr. Connors works with the participants on an individual and a group basis. We also partner with the Nature Conservancy, so we have outdoor education experiences. This year we're gonna do another overnight camping trip and a float trip on the Kern River. And so we really are intentional about this program. We want to equip young people with the resources they need to thrive in the next chapter of their life, whatever that looks like. And so while we have a small sample size, I'm very confident that we have one of the best youth programs in the country, and that's because we're really intentional about how we support them. George Washington Carver Farms. So we purchased a house and 5 lots in North City in November of 2021. And again, this space is going to continue the legacy of George Washington Carver Farms. Not only are we going to create space for food, we're going to have education opportunities, job opportunities. Once we get the farm off the ground, we're also going to look into housing. So there's so many vacant houses, vacant lots in Fairground as well as in North St. Louis. So how can we also address housing, create better opportunities for the folks living in these communities? Go to the next slide, please. So, hope I'm not going too bad on time. Okay, you could just, if I need to wrap it up. But I wanted to really quickly give y'all some context around the neighborhoods that we're currently in. So our farm, which is in Fairground neighborhood, this community once upon a time was a thriving community. They used to have a jockey club in Fairground Park. They used to race horses. The pools and some of the features in this park in the early 1900s were state of the art. And so this community had an amphitheater, a museum, so many different opportunities for folks to build community and to grow with one another. The St. Louis Agriculture and Mechanical Association is the entity that was really spearheading the advancement of the park and the neighborhood in general. And so the reality is, when you talk about American history for long enough, racism is bound to come up. And so in the 1940s, there was a race riot in Fairground neighborhood. And this race riot occurred because the leadership in that community decided that the pools in that park would be desegregated and that everyone had access to this pool as tax-paying citizens. And so folks did not like that. And so there were a small group of Black kids that decided to swim one particular day, and literally a riot broke out. And so since that, there has been a history, decades long, of divestment, specifically in Fairground neighborhood. Now it is a shell of its former self. There is obviously a lack of folks living in that community, but also there is a rise of gun violence. There's a rise of vacant buildings, vacant lots, unemployment, poverty, you name it. And so the reality is the Fairground in particular desperately needs more resources, needs more support. And so especially because we have our farm in this community, we want to do our part to restore some of the magic that was in this community once upon a time. Hyde Park, which is just a few miles away, is where our community garden is located. And so Hyde Park is also a historic neighborhood in St. Louis. Some of the oldest homes in the city of St. Louis are in Hyde Park. If you get a chance to drive through, there are some really cool water towers. These water towers are actually really unique. So to my knowledge, there are 5 of these types of water towers in the world, and 3 of them are in Hyde Park. So a lot of history in Hyde Park. And so our community garden is there. We technically do not own that land. It is owned by St. Louis Public Schools, but we will continue to maintain that space for the community until they kick us out. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so our vision is for North St. Louis to be a thriving community with access to quality food, sustainable agriculture, green infrastructure, housing, education, and employment. And so this here is a Google map of our overhead view of our property. So the areas highlighted in white are the properties that we currently own. So the house and the 2 lots on the GWC Farms, that will be where our office space is located. We also have our native garden in the front yard, and then we have our demonstration garden as well as outdoor classroom on that side. Across the alley is what we're calling Victory and Peace Park. So this is paying homage to a book that George Washington Carver wrote called Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. And so in this book, he outlined opportunities for folks to find wild edible plants in public spaces. And so during this time, it was not too far from the Great Depression. And so he wanted to create opportunities for folks to find fresh food. And so he had recipes in there, as well as plant identification maps for folks to find things like sorrel and dandelion, things that are actually edible and nutritious for us. And so we're going to honor that legacy by growing those wild plants that you wouldn't typically think as nutritious and something that's edible. We'll continue to grow those, as well as creating space for community. So obviously we're a farm, we have to grow food, but we also want to create space for the Fairground neighborhood as well as North St. Louis. And so we realize that these communities have been impacted by gun violence. We also are still in the midst of a pandemic. And so there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of death happening, not just in Fairground, but across the country. And so why not create a space for grief? Why not create a space for people to honor their loved ones who are no longer with us, creating space for healing, creating space for people to see themselves. And so we really, again, want to be intentional about this work. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do as a farm, but we also want to be really intentional about showing up for our community. And so just real quick, the things that are outlined in orange as well as in red, all of these are currently vacant properties owned either by the city of St. Louis or privately owned vacant properties. And so as we continue the first phase of development, the goal is to expand. We can really expand in any direction, as you can see. And so we really want to be intentional about, again, this community, restoring some of that magic. And once we have the land that we need for agriculture, the next phase is, okay, now we need to address housing. How can we create safer opportunities for the people living in this community? Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so really quickly, I wanted to share with y'all this quote. So this quote is from Professor Eugenia South. And so she did some studies in Philadelphia, specifically in Black urban neighborhoods in Philadelphia, and did studies around the importance of green infrastructure and how that impacts communities. And so the quote is, "The remediation of vacant and dilapidated physical environments, particularly in resource-limited urban settings, can be an important tool for communities to address mental health problems alongside other patient-level treatments." So basically what that says is green infrastructure has a lot of impacts in our communities. Typically in Black and urban communities like Fairground, there is a lack of tree canopy, which means there is a lack of trees compared to, let's say, a community like this one. And so that has direct impacts on that community. If you don't have trees, that means the temperature in that community is warmer because there's a lack of shade and a lack of tree canopy. Also, trees filter the air, and so the air quality in places that have more trees is better. And then when you think about the mental health, so there have been studies specifically on pregnant women, folks who are pregnant, and how having access to trees, flowers, bushes, green spaces can help with depression and other mental health issues. And so, again, this is a really intentional effort to really restore and empower this community, not just through the food, but through the infrastructure of the community as well. Did I have another point? No, I think that was it. Okay, so first phase, I mentioned that. We're in the first phase of development. Still have a ways to go. We've raised about $100,000 so far for this effort, but we are ultimately looking for about $250,000 to finish the first phase of development. And so I'm really excited about that because, again, we'll have an opportunity for education, jobs, as well as food. And so really excited about the work that we're doing. It's also been a test of patience because the money has not come in as quickly as I would have hoped. And so we definitely have been building things a piece at a time. The goal is to finish the first phase of development by late fall, early next spring at the latest. So really excited about the progress that we've made so far. And we have, again, been really intentional about how we support the community. We want to engage them as much as possible and, again, make this world, this city a better place. Okay, yeah, we almost done. You go to the next one. So, how can I get involved? I'm glad you asked. So, there are many ways for y'all to support. The most sustainable way to support us is through monthly donations. Even if it's $15 or $20 a month, that goes a long way in terms of offsetting some of our operational costs. But we're a nonprofit, so we accept donations of all kinds. We accept small donations, we accept big donations with commas, we accept it all. So if you're interested in that, you can follow up with me or contact us. We also are always looking for volunteers. We typically have volunteer days on Saturdays, but we also host groups, small groups and large groups at the farm, and we can schedule those throughout the week. We also have tours. You're more than welcome to come by for those. And then we also, in addition to the Sunflower Institute, we do outdoor education for really all ages. And so we have been hired by various schools and entities throughout the greater St. Louis area. So we are more than welcome to talk about that. And then merch. You can also buy merch. We just got some t-shirts. I got some in the trunk with some bucket hats. And so you're always welcome to buy merch. There's a link on our website. You can tap into that as well. Again, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for all that you're doing for our community. I appreciate you. The Welcome team will now take up a collection to support the society. If you are moved to make a donation today, we appreciate anything you may be able to offer. We rely on the generosity of our members and friends to ensure our community can keep providing our many free programs. If you don't have cash with you today and you feel inclined, you can donate at ethicalsdl.org/donate or use the QR code on the screen behind me. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Ethical Society, hold that thought until June because we have a new membership and program manager beginning then. Her name is Courtney, and she'll get you right on track to becoming a member. Meanwhile, please keep attending, and we would love to keep you informed about future events at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. If you'd like to join our weekly newsletter, please use the QR code above me to sign up. You can also sign up on our website. I have a number of announcements today. In March, the Climate Action Now team heard a presentation about the Homegrown National Park movement, which is a collective effort of individual homeowners, property owners, land managers, farmers, and anyone with some soil to plant in to create healthy habitat by planting native plants and removing invasive plants. Many of us are already reaping the benefits of growing native in our own yards, replacing turf grass with native sedges and flowers in order to provide habitat for pollinators, birds, and other wildlife, managing stormwater runoff, and sequestering carbon. But what's happening at the Ethical Society, our home away from home? Is there a practical way for us to permanently eradicate the honeysuckle on our grounds and to begin to replace turf grass with native shrubs, trees, and perennials? This month, join the CAN team and our building manager, Joe, at the 945 Forum on June 4th, which is the first Sunday of the month, which is not the usual date. So make a note that it's June 4th, for a brief tour of the Ethical Society's grounds and a discussion of the desirability and feasibility of transferring some of these grounds into a conservation corridor. How might we go about doing that? What would be required in terms of funding and person power to design, install, and maintain for the long term? Native gardens where we currently have turf grass. Could we develop a multi-year plan with the goal of adding the Ethical Society of St. Louis to the Homegrown National Park map? Let's talk about it on June 4th. And you can join the Climate Action Now team on Saturday, June 10th at 10 a.m. at Earth Dance Farm. Earth Dance is an organic farm school located in Ferguson. During our guided tour, lasting about 1 hour, we'll learn about the benefits of local small-scale organic farming and how it differs from big agriculture monocropping. We'll hear about sustainability as we tour the herb garden, 7 generations garden, rain garden, and production fields. We'll also visit the greenhouse and harvest house. So there's plenty to do. There's a great opportunity for people of all ages, adults, teens, and children, to learn, to have some fun, and to spend time outdoors with their Ethical Society friends. The cost is $10 per person, payable in advance to Bob or Kathy Pickard or Brian Vandenberg. If you have any questions, please reach out to them in person or via the CAN email, can.ethicalsdl@gmail.com. Okay, so we will now have our final musical selection from Sherry, which is Pearls.